Hey everybody, another bumpy day on the market, but we've been here before. We're not at these levels in a couple of days now, at least 10 or 12 days since we were back at these levels. But anyway, we did break through the 47K, but hopefully we should bounce up from there. But I just want to talk about why it's important to look at the year in review and the lessons learned from everything that we've seen, and why it's important to have discipline when it comes to investing in crypto, or otherwise you can get very wrecked. So let's jump in. Edutainment, as you know, math, money, and freedom. And let's talk about how the world is changing so fast before I jump in. This is a slide I had way back in 2019. Remember, 2 years ago? Well, look at the list. These were the top projects, the top ecosystems in crypto. Names like EOS, Stellar, Tron, New, Neo, Quantum, Waves, BitShares, Omni. Where have they all gone? They were there, but they're way down the list. That's lesson number one. Things change very fast in this space, so you need to have your tap dancing shoes on all the time. So let's talk about the year in review real quick. It can be summarized in 4 simple little words. Q1, Tesla. Q2, China. Q3, El Salvador. Q4, Metaverse. It's like 3 of them are places. But basically, you can summarize everything up real quick. Obviously, Q1, Tesla bought $1.5 billion of Bitcoin. Bitcoin went from 35,000 all the way up to crazy levels real fast. But the most important one, we all know China with the mining ban disrupted the whole network, had a lot of people nervous for a while, and brought a big cascade downfall. Q3 was probably the most interesting. Bitcoin maxis had reason to celebrate. You know, we've always spoken about a sovereign country making it legal tender, but it actually happened. And this was announced at the May conference by President Nayib Bukele. He announced he had plans to do this sometime later that year, and it's in September 2021. Bitcoin is made legal tender, and Q4 was the quarter of the metaverse. Gaming, Facebook changing his name, etc., etc. So that's the year. It's gone fast. That's when I started this channel too, and I lived through all of this and more. But let's talk about why this is important. First of all, I don't want this to be disappointing or alarming to anybody, but I'm going to say something that might upset some people. First of all, the crypto market cap, as I measured it about 25 minutes ago, has done an exact 3x of where it was January of this year. That means if you were a hamster or a chimpanzee throwing darts and you picked random cryptos, your bag should have 3x'd by now. So you invest $10,000, you should have 30,000, 100,000, 300,000, etc., etc. So this is the scary thing, but there's more to it than that. As you know, it's been a crazy year. Many things have exploded and gone up like mad, but you have to pick the right horses. If you do, you make incredible returns. If you're sitting on losers, you're not. So again, that market cap went from 740 billion to 2.34 trillion today. That's 3x. All across the board. But there were big black holes that sucked everything in. I'll talk more about black holes and wormholes and stuff like that as well later. So it's also been an emotional roller coaster for many of you out there. Let's look at the fear and greed index. This is kind of, if we looked at it now, it would be down around 20, and that's typically a time to buy. There's direct correlation between the fear being extremely high, down low, as indicated by those red rings, and low Bitcoin prices. So it has also been, we've had some euphoric times when things are crazy bullish. So for many out there, this can be very depressing, especially if they're in the wrong names or they get in late and they're holding on to things. It can be very alarming. But again, if you're just moving large amounts of money around, things like Bitcoin, yes, highly volatile, but it just goes up all the time. And the supply is so scarce. I'll talk more about supply later too as well. But remember, this is the key message. When fear is high, that is the time to buy. I don't know, I think it's lesson number 3 so far, but we'll try to put more together. Now, good news as well. Spot volume on Bitcoin has stabilized, which has been very interesting. Normally, there used to be times back in the day, 2017, 2018, 2019, where volume would just dry up completely. And that's not good for any asset. Now, 2021 did start with massive spot volume as the crypto market was in the middle of a retail-driven rally. But now retail has left the scene, and guess who's buying all the Bitcoin? Yep, big high net worth individuals, institutions, etc. Now the spot volume stayed high during spring, decreased in summer, and now it's considerably a higher plateau than we saw back in 2020, 2019. And the aggregate spot volume in 2021 was 4 times higher than 2020. That means there's demand. So let's talk about altcoins. So when we began the year, Bitcoin dominance was up, bumping up against 70%. Now it hits this floor about 40% all the time, Bitcoin dominance. And that shows you what has grown, and that is everything other than Bitcoin, called the altcoins. So it's extremely positive. And also, most important thing to note as well, is not only identifying the sectors, but playing in the right level of those sectors for maximum gains. This is probably lesson number 4 or 5 at this stage. Here, if you look at the analysis, this is from Arcane Research, it shows you that the average performance of layer 1 tokens in the mid-cap size were the ones that crushed it in 2021 with an average of 830% gain. Think about that. If you are just holding big bags of Ethereum, you'll do well. But if you're holding a mid-cap layer 1 platform, boom, and the right ones, the results are 10x, 20x, 25x what Ethereum got. So that's kind of the key message as well here. Pick the right places that are going to bump. Notice not small caps, mid caps, and not anything else, layer 1s. That's where all the money was made in 2021. Now, what I do is I like to have extreme discipline and depth in certain select areas. Now, there is no categorization that I like in crypto. So, of course, I blaze my own trail. I build my own. This is how I view the world. L1s and L2s, I call them SCPs, smart contract platforms, but there's a difference between L1 and L2. We'll talk about those in a minute. Then we have DeFi. DeFi includes things that some people would include in L1s or even in utility. I call it DeFi, and I'll show you what those are as well. Then you have the utility tokens. These are tokens given by exchanges. Think Voyager, think Binance, think Crypto.com, think Celsius. These are what I call utility tokens. And then fifth is the Metaverse, which is a whole bunch of games and NFTs and other types of situations. So that's kind of my 5 big categories. And to be successful in this game, it's very, very important to go deep into one area. And my chosen area is L1s, dotted line to L2s, with a little dabble in DeFi. And that's kind of my world. Now, if you are a gaming expert, you might be very interested in Metaverse. Again, you can make a lot of money there if you can pick the right names. Utility tokens too. So that's kind of the way I categorize the world. Now, if you have a better categorization, please share below in a comment. The other important thing to note, and you've heard me say this many times before, is 95% of crypto will not yield value. What that means is they will eventually go to zero over time. Remember, slide 4, 2 years ago, where the heck are those players now? That's exactly what's going to happen. If you're holding a bag of something and it's not performing, think about flicking it and moving on to something that is performing. And remember, everything changes all the time in this space very quickly. So let's talk now. Let's jump into the first category in this CryptoLympics, the L1s, aka smart contract platforms. You guys know them. If you listen to this channel, you know how I love them. So this has been the year of the layer 1. All the market cap growth, all that 700 billion to 2.3 trillion, most of that money was made up in these black holes. You got names like Solana, Harmony, Avalanche, Fantom, Ethereum. They all crushed it. No matter where it is, most of the mid-cap names really exploded. But that's the important thing to note. L1s, and it was the year of the L1s. The question is, what's going to happen next? And I have a surprise at the very end. I'll share with you guys. So let's talk about the top performing L1s for the year. Number 1 is Fantom. Fantom wins the score. Now, this analysis is not based on the way I typically value crypto. Obviously, I felt Solana was the top SCP of the year. Ethereum was joint first, and As an L2 SCP, Matic was third. But I do have a little position in Fantom, and that's where we are right now. They had a performance of 12,000% for the year. Solana was number 2 with about 9,400%, and Harmony number 3 with about 5,300%. Avalanche number 4, 2,700%. Again, these are all outrageous returns. Down the line, we have Elrond 830%, Cardano 678%, and Ethereum 409%, or a 5x on your money, which is still stunning. Like, I remember, it feels like yesterday I was buying a ton of Ethereum under $200. And look at where we are today. So, again, it's been a crazy, crazy year. Winner in the L1 category is Fantom because of its growth. Now, fastest growing blockchain also happens to be Fantom. Avalanche is number 2 and Solana is number 3. Again, it's very, very important to look at growth, because if you have something early on the cusp of extreme growth, you can do very well. Now let's jump to the layer 2s. Layer 2s, again, these are things built on top of layer 1s. And the list of the top layer 2s so far, and you guys, again, if you listen to this channel, all year I've been screaming about the unseen value of Polygon. Polygon crushed every other layer 2 out there, and I believe they will have a very strong year in 2022 because they're pivoting hard to the ZK rollup basis. So if you look at Polygon, again, top performer, 14,000% return in a year. Next highest, layer 2, is a tenth of that return, 1,400%. And then Syscoin, Scale, OMG Network, Hermes, etc. Hermes is actually acquired by Polygon, and that'll be rolled into their solution. Again, performance not so good for ones down the line, but that's an example, everybody. Another key lesson to take away is be on the right horse. Sometimes there is a complete category winner. Think of Amazon in retail. Think of Google in search. Think of Tesla in EVs. There's only one kind of category winner, so you have to be able to identify them early and spend an inordinate amount of time identifying them. Don't go look for lookalikes or copycats. You'll never make it there. You got to get in early to the winners. Okay, let's talk about DeFi. It's a section in a sector that I love very much because my background is in financial services. So this one, I want to talk about Terra Luna for a second. As I say, sometimes I like to blaze my own trail and make my own decisions. But here, Terra Luna was released in 2019. And the Terra white paper, which I've read, describes it as a price-stable, growth-driven stablecoin that achieves price stability via elastic money supply. Okay? Therefore, I see Terra not as a smart contract platform, although it can do elements of an SCP. But truly, it's more of a DeFi play. Therefore, I categorize it as a DeFi play, not a layer 1. Now, if we look at the top performers of Decentralized Finance, DeFi, you can see here, Terra Luna, number 1, 13,000%. Loopring, number 2, 1,000%. Again, what do you guys see here? The pattern is the same. One winner takes all. Matic crushed L2s. Luna crushed DeFi by a huge factor, more than 10x compared to Matic and the previous one before. We also have other names in there like Uniswap and Aave, which had a bit of a flat year. Then the Graph up 76%, which is basically 1/3 of what the typical result is for crypto in the year 2021. And then other names, Olympus, which is kind of flat for the year. So that's, again, the key there, everybody, is pick the winner and go in hard, full conviction. Now, I want to talk about some of the other key things that are happening in the world today of crypto. Is this whole interchain capability is happening, and it's very real. Wormhole already exists. Now, Wormhole operates as a decentralized intermediary oracle network that observes and verifies messages on the chain and relays them to other chains. So this basically means you can now work seamlessly across 4 chains, buying and trading, for example, NFTs across Binance, Ethereum, Luna, and Solana. And that is a key part of the future going forward. So watch this space. And again, Wormhole is configured to work with the top 4 platforms. They're going after the money. Follow the money when you play in this game, everybody. Remember, don't dabble in hopes and dreams. 4th category, utility tokens. This one is kind of interesting. And there's a little bit of a twist here in this particular one. This one's kind of weird So according to the data that I pulled from CoinMarketCap, you can see that Voyager token wins. But I don't know anybody that bought Voyager token at 12, 13, 14, 15 cents in January 1st, 2021. Therefore, I gave the prize of the winner of this to Binance with a return of about 1,300%. And in full disclosure, I had Binance. I sold it during the summer because I got nervous with all the FUD, and I moved all the money I had in Binance to Solana, which proved to be a much faster horse because I sold Binance at 400 and I bought, I think it was 350 or 400, and I used those proceeds to buy Solana. And at the time, Solana was trading in the 20s. So that worked out pretty well. As you can see, Binance hasn't moved that much. And that's the reason you kind of sometimes got to be disciplined, have conviction, and get off the names that you are in. And if you see smoke, sometimes there's always fire behind it. So anyway, Binance has had a great year. Voyager has had a great year, but it all happened at the beginning of the year. So anyway, that's the lesson there with utility tokens. There are others as well. If you look carefully down the list, you will see names like Crypto.com, which exploded recently. That's up 800% for the year. X token, 570%. Nexo, 300%. Swipe. And Celsius is looking low and flat, and I'm not sure why that is. But again, in full disclosure, I don't own any. Actually, I think I have some Voyager tokens, but I think they're because I use a Voyager account. Anyhow, we'll see. That's the utility side of the house. Now, the next section and the final section is actually a complex section because it has a lot of moving parts. This is what we call Metaverse. So let's jump in and talk about the Metaverse winners so far. So the top Metaverse play, believe it or not, is Gala, up 45,000%. Number 2 is Axie Infinity, up 16,000%. And number 3 is just missed second spot, the Sandbox, 16,038%. These are live numbers and crazy, crazy, crazy results. Who could have thought, hey, this thing's going to do 45,000% this year? So anyway, that is the Metaverse, but there's a lot more to it. So let's jump in and talk about Game of the Year. Clearly, Axie Infinity. Now, there's another key term that I wasn't really aware of. If you come to me in 2020, I had no idea what P2E meant, but that's play to earn. And that was the whole theme of 2021. And that's the crux behind Axie. And again, they make money by putting games and little monsters battling and breeding in the game. And you can sell monsters, share monsters, breed monsters, etc. And it recently, I think the game was on Ethereum, recently migrated to the Ronin sidechain. So again, watch where these big games go. Make sure you understand the sidechains as well, because that has a big impact on where things go in the future. And that just crazy, crazy return. Again, 13,000% or whatever. Now, OpenSea, another clear winner. These guys made a bunch off the whole NFT marketplace. And NFT marketplace volumes increased 133 times from about 17 million in January to 2 billion in November. Again, non-existent in January, to facilitate nearly $2.5 billion worth of NFT trades. And OpenSea is a clear leader in this space. And as a marketplace has been staggering, but there's competition coming as well. So let's talk about collection winners. This is kind of an interesting place to dig into. If you look at the top collections, obviously number of transactions, number of owners and buyers, the clear winner again is Axie, followed by CryptoPunks, followed by Art Blocks, and then Top Shot. But the NBA Top Shot merch is actually very expensive and highly transactional too. So a lot of activity, a lot of transactions on that particular area. You can see I'm very quickly getting out of my depth talking about NBA Top Shot. I don't watch basketball. Anyhow, NFT sales by blockchain. This is another interesting one to look at. So if you consider NFT sales as part of the whole DeFi, etc. component, number 1, the big 800-pound gorilla, Ethereum is there. Ronin, number 2, thanks to Axie moving over to the Ronin sidechain. Flow, number 3. Solana, number 4. Wax, number 5. Polygon, number 6. Again, the space is changing very fast. What's very interesting is look at the bottom. It's like, oh, let's try jump into this space. And we had 7 sellers, 3 buyers, and $15,000 in transactions. So after OpenSea doing like billions, it's kind of funny to see. But they tried their best award for our friends at Zilliqa. So anyway, participation awards, another thing just to note a couple of other key lessons here for you all as we go forward. How to throw money away. These are the top losers from the top 100%. And trust me, when you look at the top 100, over half of them are way off their all-time highs right now. But just a couple of names that we always talked about as being crap from day one. Always committed, always have the same message. Zcash, Internet Computer, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, Curve DAO, Neon, EOS, Filecoin, BitTorrent. If you know any of those names, they're all off their all-time highs between 80 and 97.5%, which is staggering. Remember, Bitcoin Cash is not Bitcoin for all those that believe. And at the beginning of the year, I had to educate thousands of people to get rid of it. So hopefully they did. And that's what happens when you own things. You know, hope is not a strategy. Own the pure form of whatever you are in at any time. Now, this is also the year of the money grab meme. Meme coins is just, you know, this is the one area in the world where probably myself and Charlie Munger are on the same page because we don't quite get it. But let's talk about dogs and memes. If you look at Dogecoin and Shiba Inu, they're both, you know, obviously heavily manipulated, designed to screw retail investors. I don't care what you say. You know, those people say, oh, I made $1 million on Dogecoin or whatever, but they probably lost it pretty quick. When you look at how quickly the Shiba Inu thing was forked with a quadrillion supply. So not long after, I think, Elon Musk bought Bitcoin and it drove Bitcoin crazy, he picked up a habit of frequently tweeting about Dogecoin, leading to several mind-blowing rallies. It's incredible the power this man has. And as the original gangster meme coin, now corresponding Wall Street Bets community jumped on GameStop, AMC, etc., just like Dogecoin. And just be careful out there, everybody. Things like Dogecoin, Shiba Inu are kind of crazy. And blow-off tops happen. Money comes in. Whales manipulate, pump up the price. People see it, they get excited, they jump in. Price dumps. Look at the charts. It's very simple. Now, it's very important as well to look at things like inflation and ownership and everything else. Note, 14 people control 70% of the supply of Shiba Inu. And there's no infinite supply, no max supply. It can just go on forever. Currently, there is 589, 735, whatever. I don't even know how much that is. That's like 589 million billion. Okay? Think about that. 589 million billion tokens. It's just stupidity. And if you look at another way of thinking about it, the SHIB circulating supply, not the max supply, because there is no max supply, they'll print it forever, just like the Fed will print your US dollars or whatever currency you have. The SHIB circulating is at 589 million billion. Okay? The Bitcoin circulating is 14 million. Therefore, there's 42 million times more Shiba Inu circulating than Bitcoin. 42 million. Again, infinite supply. Anybody that buys this type of stuff is just looking to get their head examined. So, ring the bell if you want to hear my outlook for 2022 and how best to play it, what to look for, what sectors I believe will be hot, and how to watch for things that are going on. That's coming real soon. Sooner than you think as well. So, hope you guys like the content. Please subscribe. Remember, investing is a tricky game. Don't let yourself be manipulated. Okay? Pick the right assets. Get deep in the spaces. Look at my 5 categories in my CryptoLympics. Pick one you like and just go deep. Identify the winner and go hard. And that's it. It does take a little bit of homework, but we are here for you as well as we go forward. So happy holidays. Hope everybody's getting ready for New Year's Eve. Good to see the moderators in the chat, keeping everybody safe. Thank you for all you do, guys. And smash the like on the way out. Thanks, everybody.